Hey everybody, Blugoblin here for another late, but I'm still here. Another review for the ending of February 2016. Got a lot to cover here. Wow. We say goodbye to a series, and it left me scratching my head, but I'll get to that when we get to it. Look at this. And I got a pick of the week, even though it was kind of difficult to pick one because, truth be told, none of these books gave me a wow factor to really hit me hard and know for certain this book was my pick of the week. You know, I didn't really get that feeling with this particular week of books. What are you going to do? We're going to start with DC, go through IDW, and end with Marvel. We're going to start with Aquaman, number 49, or AKA the book I just whacked myself in the head with. First of all, I do love that Neil Adams cover. Did that look familiar? I thought so. Dan Abnett does a great job with the writing. This was good. This was a slowdown. This was a with all that's going on with Arthur. In here we see Aquaman trying to strike a deal with Mera, and other members of it, other people from Atlantis, try and come up with an idea on how they can better get along with the surface world and everything. And he states that there's nobody he trusts more with his heart than Mera, obviously. And it's nice to see that with all the shit that's been going on with them, they're still strong. They still have a very strong bond, Arthur and Mera do. And it really does show in here. Not really too much happens in this. This was just a break from the action to try and get attached more emotionally to the characters, to find out what kind of stuff did they go through when they're not swinging punches. Sometimes it's good to have that, and this was a good example of that. This was good. Good character development, good storytelling. I like the slow down in the pacing. For a series that's been going through what this has been going through, I'm totally fine with it. This was good. That last page, though, kind of made me giggle a little bit in terms of, what the fuck? Like, okay, whatever. Just promise me, DC, just keep Mera the way she is. It doesn't really matter what she looks like or what you do with her. Well, I can't really go that far. But what you have her wearing in the last page, I was like, fuck. Really? Oh well. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm a bigger fan of Mera right now than I am of Aquaman. That doesn't mean don't get me wrong, I love Aquaman. I love what they've done with him in this new 52 look and everything. But this was good. This was alright. An easy 3.5. Alright, moving on to Cyborg number 8. This is Walker with Autonomy. This was alright too. This, I'm sorry, all I got out of this was blah, 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 government, blah, 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 we want everything, blah, 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 we own everything, blah, 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 blah. And from Cyborg and his supporting cast, I got a lot of blah, 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 joke, 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 blah, 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 joke, joke, joke. But that doesn't mean this book was bad. But this issue was basically a lot of blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, now where are you going? But like I said, just because a book can be a bit on the blah, 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 blah side, it doesn't mean the book was horrible. It doesn't mean the book was bad. I did like this. I did enjoy reading this. It's just this issue for me, it just doesn't feel as memorable as some of the other issues in this series have been. There were good moments. There were, believe me. But Cyborg, I don't know where they decided for him to start just randomly cracking jokes and everything, because up until now he seemed kind of serious, and seeing him team up with Captain Marvel was good. That was really good. The Zookeeper, whatever. But I did like the cliffhanger though. That was good. This was an alright issue. It had its moments, but like I said, it's just a blah 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 issue, and that was pretty much it. It was good, but I just wasn't feeling it to give it a 3. Alright. Dark Knight 3, The Master Race. This is book 3. God, it seemed like it took forever for this issue to come out. This was good. This was really good. I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to give much away. I know this book's been out for a while now. By the time you're watching this video, but I still don't want to give too much away because there's a lot of good stuff that happens in here. A few things I will say is that, one, we have another Kryptonian invasion. Gee, never seen that before. Bruce, we learn what's going on with him, and what he thinks of Robin in here, what he thinks of her, how good he thinks she is, and everything like that. That was good. We get to see what their plans are for backup concerning these invading Kryptonians. Pretty sure you already know what's going on by now, but that cliffhanger at the end. Woo! God damn! And then you got the little Green Lantern mini comic book in the middle of the book. I thought that was okay too. The little Green Lantern mini book in the middle of this issue has got some John Romita Jr. artwork, and look, John Romita Jr. is one of my favorite comic book artists of all time, but I have to call it like I see it. This was some of the absolute worst artwork from John Romita Jr. I have ever seen. This was bad. I know he didn't do all the artwork himself. I know he had help in here, but he looks like he's taking the main credit of this particular little Green Lantern story. But man, I did not like this artwork. It looked really messy. It looked sloppy. It looked rushed. It is not, by any stretch of imagination, it is not some of Romita Jr.'s best artwork. This was bad. But the artwork in the main story from Azzarello, that was good. Miller's writing was also really good. A solid issue. Really, really well done. With a nice, like I said, with a nice what the fuck kind of cliffhanger at the end. Nicely done. This was good. But man, the Green Lantern story in the middle, the writing on it was okay, but the artwork was shit, and that hurts the book really big. So I would have given this a 4, but because that subpar artwork from a great artist, I got to give it a 3.5. I'm sorry. I paid for that. I have every right to judge it. The Flash, number 49. Vindine Jensen. Woohoo! This was really good. This was good. You got the rogues and, the Central City Police Department, and they got these drones everywhere detecting speed. And I like how Captain Cold puts it. He's like, if the Flash so much as wiggles his pinky toe, we're going to know about it. And it's like, okay. But it's not the Flash that sets off one of those drones to draw out the rogues. I ain't gonna ruin who set it off. But what I will say is that yes, they do encounter Barry again, and no, it does not look good for Barry. It really doesn't. This was good. This was a solid read. I did enjoy it. The scene with Barry and his father, that was a good scene. I like how they're building some things up, and I am really, really looking forward to what their big plans are for this series. I know they got the Rebirth coming up, and we're probably going to say bye-bye to a lot of this particular style of storytelling with the Flash, which is a shame because I would really like to see how this particular angle is going to pan out, considering what they're building up, who they're building up, and where they could possibly go with this. This was a good issue. It gets a 4. He-Man, the Eternity War number 15. Based on what I've seen in previous catalogs and what I've tried looking up online, this looks like the final issue of the series, which is a shame because I would have liked to, based on what I saw in this issue, you have left it open to keep the story going. But you're going to stop it right here. That's fine. It's better to stop. Sometimes it is better to stop a story while it's popular and while you want more than to keep a story going to the point where you start to resent it and then you get rid of it and then you go, oh, finally they got rid of it. It's better to get rid of something while it's still popular, while you still love it, so you can cherish it and wish for it to come back. That's good. Okay, that's good. But considering the note they left it on, it is still truthfully disappointing to know that you left it open to keep the story going, especially with what we see in here. You've left it open for so many more possible movements, and to stop it right here, despite what I just said, I am still disappointed that we couldn't get more out of this. If this is indeed the last issue, then damn. Because I feel like I should spoil the hell out of this book to further explain why I feel so disappointed that they've chose to stop it, but I'm not going to. Because there was a lot of good moments in here, and I feel like this is a time where you should go back, get the back issues of the series, catch up on what's going on, come here, and then look at what happens in here and then go, damn, Blue was right. They should have kept it going. A nice issue, though. A nice issue, and you know, it is what it is. It gets a 4. Next up, Superman, Lois and Clark, number 5. Jurgens and Edwards. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mr. Jurgens, I salute you, man. You're doing a great job with this. I have to thank you again and again and again for giving me my Superman back. Even though I've stated many times that I've never really been the truly biggest fan of Superman. I've always respected the character, his cultural iconic status in pop culture, and what this character has meant to so many people all around the world for so many decades. You can't help but respect that. But what DC has done with this character in the New 52 world, or should I say Earth New 52, Earth NU 52, Earth New 52, that's what I call it. What you have done with this character in the New 52 world is astounding to no end in sheer and utter fucking stupidity. You outed his secret identity, which his secret identity was also another part of his pop cultural status. You turned him into a goddamn truck driver with a buzz cut, and you went back to the t-shirt and jeans bullshit. Oh, not to mention you turned him into a supernova, which is cool on paper, but also puts further fuel into the resentment that this character can get from time to time for being too goddamn powerful. But in here, we got our Superman back, our Man of Steel. The Man of Steel who looks unbeatable, but when you look right down to it, he can be beaten. He is vulnerable. You know, it's just... even the most godlike of characters can still be done very shitty. And Dan Jurgens has done a great job with this series and with this character. This was a good read. Very nicely done. It's shown right here in the very beginning that our Superman, Clark, was this close to finding a kindred spirit in the new 5-2 Batman. Which I'm like, thank God he didn't do it. Minor spoiler there. He didn't do it. Blank, or Blanc, whatever you fucking call him, as a villain. Kinda lame. Not gonna lie. Gee, a telepathic villain. Never seen that before. And he just came off kind of meh. But I liked how Superman dealt with him. He didn't go too far. How Superman dealt with him was 100% true to character development. Very nicely done. But a nice little dramatic development in the story in terms of what's going on at the cliffhanger. It could go somewhere, but then it could go somewhere else. Who knows? This was a strong issue. Very nicely done. It easily gets a 4 from me. Going to IDW with Back to the Future number 5. My density has bought me to you. First of all, this issue has absolutely no fucking thing to do with George and Lorraine. Let's just go ahead and say that. This is a story all about Clara. Clara Brown, Doc Brown's wife from 1885. And this is her story, how she came to be, which is good. You know, goddammit, who wouldn't want to know more about this character? Clara, perhaps arguably the least popular character in not just Back to the Future 3, but arguably the least popular character in the whole Back to the Future franchise. You want to try and get more people get more fans for this character, why not learn more about her? Why not learn her backstory and everything, and how she came to be? What are her dreams? What was her motivation for doing what she did? You know, being built up the way she was and everything like that. This was a good issue. Nicely done, nicely told read. That's pretty much it. I mean, that's pretty much all this was Clara's backstory and how her and Doc were able to build a time machine back in the Old West. That's pretty much all this was. That's pretty much all I need to say about it. It gets a 3.5. Jem and the Holograms, number 12. This is the next part of Dark Jem. This is part 2 of Dark Jem. Thompson and Campbell still do a fantastic job, and I see it says up here, it says that this book was a winner for the best character redesign. I can agree with that. You know, considering what the character design was in the 80s, yeah, this is definitely a step up, even though I really don't have any right to judge the 80s cartoon since I never watched it, so I think I'm in the wrong there. I really shouldn't judge a cartoon that I never watched, so I apologize for that. But this was good. It was cute, fun. The way this series has always been so up to this point. The one moment though that really got me was the moment between Kimber and her girlfriend Stormer. Ooh. Anybody else feel a cold draft when you saw that moment? Shit. And the revelation that there is a transgender female character in this series, and I'm like, okay. And the supporting cast in this takes the reveal just about the same way I did. Okay, cool. You know, and we don't really see what the point is to having a dark hologram band, Dark Jem and the Holograms band. We don't really see what the point of this was until the very end of the issue. And I'm like, okay, now you've given us a reason as to why these characters are now the way they are. Okay, there you go. Fine. But a good issue. A 3.5. I love this little tagline at the top of this book. If you have ever been a TMNT fan, you need to check this out. It's a quote from Geekcast Radio. And we're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 55. Once again, that Kevin Eastman goodness on the cover. This is good shit. This is clearly one of the best titles that I'm picking up. Not just IDW. I'm talking about comics in general. This is really good stuff. Yeah, this is another story. Wouldn't you know it? It's another story about Michelangelo. I swear. I think Michelangelo gets more storytelling than any of the other turtles combined sometimes. It's how I truly feel. It's like, okay, we get it. Everybody loves Michelangelo. Everybody loved Curly from the Three Stooges. Everybody loves Batman. Everybody, you know... everybody loves Pinkie Pie from My Little Pony. Even though I'm an Applejack guy. And I'm a Raphael guy. But, okay. In here, Michelangelo doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know where to go. He walked out on his family for understandable reasons, and then he was shunned by the Mutanimals. He had a bad experience with the Mutanimals, and now he's gone from them. He doesn't have anywhere to go. Meanwhile, you got the shit with Casey and April. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with Casey. I really don't. I'm like, where the fuck did this attitude come from? Something must have happened in that Casey and April miniseries that I passed on. Maybe I need to go back and glance at that, or maybe somebody needs to tell me what the fuck happened, because Casey Jones in this issue was in full-blown douchebag dickhead mode. I mean, oh my god, he was a fucking dick in this issue. And we go from that to a minor spoiler. A very, very heartwarming reunion between the four brothers. Good issue, though. Good, strong issue. Good storytelling. It was good. I liked it. It gets a 4. Moving on to Marvel with All New X-Men number 5. Hopeless and Bagley still delivering the goods with this. I tell you, even though this title is called All New X-Men, this felt like a classic old school issue of Uncanny X-Men from back in the day, because you got the X-Men versus the Blob. Reading this, I just felt like I went back in time, back to the good old days of the X-Men, where it just felt like old times. It really did, to see the X-Men versus the Blob, and that's all you primarily focused on in this issue. Sure, there were other things going on in here, but the primary focus was the X-Men versus the Blob. I mean, it just felt like old times, and I liked it. But this ends with a very sad cliffhanger. Well, I shouldn't say cliffhanger. Not really, but it ends with a very sad moment. And can't help but feel that one of the parties involved in this moment is a little bit justified for feeling this way. So, yeah, this was a good issue. I really dug it. I thought it was fun. It wasn't perfect, you know, even though it did feel like the old days. It still just, it didn't have that extra oomph to make it forever memorable, you know. I know sometimes I expect too much from comic books. I get it. I'm too critical. You know, that's just who I am. But this was a good read. I did enjoy it. I love Bagley's artwork. I like the storytelling. I like where they're going with some of these things. But it was good. I give it a 3.5. Now, this is a book I've been hearing all kinds of people praise and everything like that. Angela, Queen of Hell, #5. But to be truthful, you know, Marjorie Bennett does a great job with the writing, but, I mean, what did you really expect to happen? I mean, the title is called Angela, Queen of Hell, and she challenged Hell for her crown. I mean, what did you really expect to happen? I mean, seriously, what did you expect? You think they're going to title this Angela, Queen of Hell and have her lose? I mean, that's like if Roman Reigns challenges Triple H for the WWE title at WrestleMania 32, and you have Roman Reigns lose the match, but then he comes out on Raw the next night with the WWE World Heavyweight title belt. It just doesn't look right, does it? He lost the match, but he comes out with the belt the next night. That would look really stupid. And if Angela were to lose this fight with Hell and not get the crown and not become the Queen of Hell, then what was the fucking point of calling the title Queen of Hell? So, Marvel, in a sense, in a way, kind of ruined the outcome of this little battle that she was having with Hell to get Sarah back. See, it's really easy for me to spot little stupid things like that. But that doesn't mean this book was bad. This book was really good. It's just, again, and they toned it down a lot in this issue, up until the very end. The pop culture referencing from Sarah, that just got old really fast. And the fact that they ended this issue on a pop culture joke just made me just go, oh, we're going to IKEA. My fucking God. Enough with the fucking pop culture jokes in an Asgardian style story. Shit, you can get away with shit like that with Spider-Man, with Deadpool. Hell, you can even get away with it in X-Men and Avengers and stuff like that. You're bringing in pop culture jokes in a fucking Asgardian god storyline. It just doesn't look right. It looks forced and it's not fucking funny. I mean, it's bad enough you referenced fucking Xena and Gabrielle earlier on in this. It's not funny. I don't laugh at this shit when it doesn't fucking work. I'm sorry. I just call it like I see it. But the rest of the stuff was good. I like what Angela did with the crown once she got it. Yeah, spoiler alert, she won the crown of Hell. She's the Queen of Hell. Big shock, I know. But I did like what she did once she got the crown, but I'm not going to ruin that. This was good. This was good for the most part, but I'm sorry. I have to be honest. I don't see this as jaw-droppingly powerful as some people on the internet say it is. It's just how I feel. It gets a 3.5. Amazing Spider-Man 1.3. This is part 3 of Amazing Grace. I really don't know what to think about this, to be honest. I like Simone Biancchi's artwork, but Molina's writing, I don't know where the fuck you're going with this, and quite frankly, I don't know if Marvel knows where the fuck they're going with this. It's like, you know, I thought this was going to be a pseudo-zombie storyline, but at the end of the book, it looks like they're going with the whole vampire look, and now we're learning that the dude that came back from the dead doesn't have any organs in his body or anything anymore, and I'm like, where the fuck are you going with this? And we get a scene with Spider-Man and Beast arguing about what's God and what's not a God, or what's classified as a God. Who gives a shit? Just solve the fucking mystery and get on with the storytelling. It's like, we get it. Spider-Man's a fucking atheist. There. I just ruined it for you. It just, there was a lot of, there were a few moments in here where I was just reading this going, why should I fucking care? And it's just, a true testament to how critical I am. Spider-Man's my favorite character of all time, but that doesn't make him safe from a butchering when I think a book was lame. This, I gotta dial myself back. This book wasn't exactly lame. It's just there was just like 2 or 3 moments, or maybe even more than that. I was just like, I don't really care. Just do what you're supposed to do and move on. We got like 2 pages of Beast and Spider-Man talking about, well, what do you consider a god? I don't know, what do you consider a god? Who cares? Why does Spider-Man care what's classified as a god or not if he's technically an atheist? I mean, he doesn't flat out say it, but it's implied. If you're an atheist, what the fuck do you care about gods and who's not gods or whatever? If you don't believe in it, you should say, I don't fucking care. I don't know. I'm just not feeling this story. I'm just not feeling it at all. This came off of an average read at best. Like, it's 2.5 at the best. Going to the pick of the week. All new, all different Avengers number 6. Ooh, this was good. It still did. This book still didn't have that oomph that just hits me hard and you know, makes me just want to just cherish this book. It didn't have that, but this was still a great read. This was really good. Mark Waid did a fantastic job wrapping a lot of this shit up. We learn the full truth about the mysterious buyer of Avengers Mansion and who he really is. Spoiler alert, it's Kang, and we learn what kind of shit he can do in this form and everything. I loved how they solved the problem of how Jane was able to get her hammer back, and what Captain America, what Sam told Thor, what he promised Thor. Thought that was good. I also loved how the fact that, you know, how they got Thor's hammer back, and when they got back to the present time, now there's 2 hammers. And I loved how they were able to come up with an idea. It's like, okay, in order for you to be here now, and it was Miles Morales, Spider-Man, that pointed this out. In order for you to be here now, you got to put that hammer back where you will eventually find it in the future so you can come back here and blah, blah, blah. And he even referenced Doctor Who in here. I thought that was cool too. And this also wraps up what's going on with the Vision. We find out what flipped the dick switch on the Vision and everything like that. But this was a great read. This was really good. Nova shined in here pretty good, and so did Ms. Marvel. Like I said, but just wow. Just simply wow. Really good job from Mr. Mark Waid. This was really good. Easily gets a 4. Daredevil, number 4. Look, Charles Soule does a great job with the writing, and Garney's artwork is just amazing for this series right now. I love how he really emphasizes the color red in this artwork. This is good stuff. We learn a big reason why Blind Spot is in the Ten Fingers Church. A big reason why. He's not a follower of Ten Fingers, but he's with the church for a specific reason. And I was like, okay, not bad. Seen stuff like that before, but not bad. But the thing that really bothered me in this issue was Daredevil and Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers tells Daredevil, he's like, hey, look, I trust you, even though I don't know who you are. And Matt's thinking to himself, you used to know, but you don't know anymore. And I'm like, oh, God. Chris, bro, the Mount Vernon Kid, I know you're watching this. You know what I'm talking about. I heard you talk about this. I'm gonna say it. You've already said it. You know where I'm going with this. I know you're gonna hear this, and I know you're gonna agree with me. I hope to God that they didn't pull a fucking one more day. You know, Matt sacrificing something to wipe his identity clean from everybody and all that shit. Please don't tell me you fucking went there, because if you did, Marvel, Quesada, anybody, I don't give a fuck who came up with this idea. I don't care. I don't care if you got Stan Lee to come out of retirement and write this fucking angle. If you, Marvel, if you pull another one more day-ish scenario to explain why nobody knows now that Matt Murdock is Daredevil, if you fucking did that, I am fucking done. I'm still not over it with what you did with fucking Spider-Man. Yeah, it's been nearly a decade. It's been almost a decade since that fucking happened, and I'm still not fucking over it. I will never be over it. It was bullshit then. It's fucking bullshit now. So don't pull this bullshit again with another character I've grown fond of. Other than that, this was good for the most part. It gets a 3.5. Moving on to Hercules number 4. Another Dan Abnett's another one of Dan Abnett's good pieces here. Hercules is coming to the rescue of Gilgamesh. Don't worry, minor spoiler, this doesn't happen. What you see on this cover, this does not happen. Hercules does come to save him. We get to see one of the things, we get to see two of the beings that are going to be the uprising or erasing of the gods and everything like that. One of them is referring to himself as the god of war, even though I don't see it. And the other guy is dressed in a fucking white suit. I don't even know. I don't even remember what the fuck he calls himself. I don't care. He's got like rainbow colored hair and he's wearing a white suit and he fucking speaks in fucking text language talk. He fucking speaks in acronyms, and I swear to God, I'm surprised he wasn't talking with emojis and all that bullshit. Oh God. You introduced a new villain and already I don't fucking like him. You know, you're bringing in a new villain, a new character that I've never seen before, and my first impression is, fuck him. I'm serious. That's my first impression of this new villain, because the way he speaks, the way he looks, I'm just like, fuck him. But that doesn't make this issue horrible. Hercules was still true to character. Gilgamesh building him back up pretty nicely for the most part. Not a horrible book. It gets a 3. We're ending this review with Spider-Man 2099, number 7, Peter David and Sliney. Note to self, don't ever become an Inhuman because it might make you a dick. Yeah. Totally did not see this coming. I was expecting, once this girl became an Inhuman, I was expecting her to go the classic, you know, oh, I'm scared, what do I do? I got all these powers, I don't know how to control them, oh my God, help me, somebody help me. That's honestly where I thought they were going. But no, she's now developed a god complex, and once again, we got another spider-related character who's a fucking atheist. But yeah, they went with the whole god complex. She's like, people will worship me. They will worship me for my help, and if they don't, they will die, or I will hurt them, and all that shit. And she's like, it's like, if God is listening, let him tell me, no, he ain't gonna say nothing? Fine, I'll be God. It's like, oh my God. Bad choice of words. Marvel seems to have a real problem with gods this particular week of books. I was serious. With the exception of Mark Waid with Thor. Yeah. And what a shock. It ends... The issue ends with a accidental heartbreaking moment between two lovers because this newly appointed god, Inhuman, accidentally gets her girlfriend impaled by the end of the issue, and she feels bad, so poof, she's gone. We don't know where she went, and I'm like, oh my god. This was, with all due respect to Peter David, because I love his writing, I highly respect the man, this wasn't really that good. It wasn't bad. I'll say that. It wasn't really that great, but it wasn't bad. It was pretty okay at best. This is definitely one of Peter David's weaker issues, at least in my opinion. Yeah, it's just, that's how it is, folks. This gets a 3.5. I'll be generous, though, out of respect for Peter David. He can do a lot. I just wasn't feeling that as much as his other issues of that series. Well, that's all I got for this review, everybody. I want to thank y'all for watching me shoot my mouth off, and please subscribe to this channel. I noticed my view counts have been dropping here as of late, and that is kind of disappointing, but I am forever grateful to the people who still come by and still watch these reviews and still give me feedback, likes or dislikes, comments, you know, sharing on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr and all that stuff. I am forever grateful to the people who stick around and enjoy watching me talk about these comic books. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't wanting more views. So help me get some more views if you can. You know, like, comment, share, subscribe. Subscribe to Blugoblin X, Arkham Asylum Studio. You know about the links in the description to all my shout-outs to my friends. Follow me on Twitter at Blugoblin01, blugoblin.tumblr.com. Look for me on Pinterest, Facebook, or stick with me here on YouTube. I promise I won't punch anybody in the nuts like I said a couple weeks ago. Thanks for watching, everybody. I am Groot. I'll see y'all later.